Yeah, that's if I reflect back on all of this, and if I look at like if it wasn't meant to work out in the long run, there was so much uh that it pulled out of me that, like you said, it was maybe all of these things because it was the first kind of intimate relationship with somebody in so long that it was like I spoke with Matt about it as well, and he was like, it's almost like the sobering process as well, whereas at first you're kind of like this drunkenness almost where um yeah, you're not doing maybe what's the most authentic thing for both of you to kind of go deeper because there's all these other things that need to come out
Yeah.
first from like past relationships or wounds. And a lot came out of it. Like that was what was in, but that was why this was so powerful as well, where it was like um the more that I allowed myself to truly honor how I was feeling and like really being genuine about that. Like there was periods where I was terrified of saying like I really like love you. And then I said that and then almost immediately afterwards I just burst into tears because I think it was like that was what was it almost felt to
Yep.
me like that's what was underneath pushing me almost into the other person, you know, it was like and then it was just like grief underneath and then it felt like something like almost died, you know, and it was um, yeah, so I can totally everything you said just feels like a confirmation of what what that was about. Yeah.
And it's the sadness of like it's grief is real. And the reality is we don't know when it's going to sneak up on us. And your greatest fear is someone isn't going to love me, for who I
Yeah.
am. And so sharing that you love them
Yeah.
and letting that out, right? That grief is it's your you're surrendering to the sadness that you've carried your whole life because this is
Mm.
right. This is like 2 years old, 3 years old. Like, are they going to ever love me for me all the way through?
Mm.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
it has, yes. So the only aspect of it that related to an intimate relationship was this is the person I'm choosing, right? Like we don't choose our parents. We do, from as a soul perspective,
Yeah.
but in our brains growing up we don't understand that we've chosen them, right? And
Yeah.
so we think, why don't you love me? You decided to have me, to have a child, and
Mm.
I'm still not enough for you. So when you
Mm.
come to this place where now you're choosing the person you're going to spend time with, and ultimately, the seeking is with the intention to be with that person for all the time.
Yeah.
For,
Yeah.
as my son would say, for all the days. Right? Yes. And, you
Yeah.
know, that's it's recognition of that grief. And that's really, in that moment, it's that pinnacle moment of surrender to, the way they're showing me is to the higher self and the recognition that, yep, I am on the path. And yes, I do. I do want to love
Mm.
someone and I want someone to love me for who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was that moment. That's where you burst into tears because it was that realization of, oh boy, this is really what I want. And I've said it out loud to the
Yeah.
universe. And I've entrusted another human with this
Yeah.
secret knowledge that I've been holding my whole life.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. I like that. Yeah.